Students, we were studying ancient history. In ancient history, we are studying about the sources of ancient Indian history. Means from which source we get knowledge about the ancient Indian history. Actually, the video is related with the exams like UPSC and UPPCS and exams in which GS is required. It can be any type of exam in which GS is required. So this is a portion of history. Now we have studied up to here about the official inscriptions. Today we will study about private inscriptions. What is meant by private inscriptions? Means inscriptions made privately. Privately means by the people by themselves. They were not asked by some person to do like that. They were completely private. They are more numerous. Numerous means in large number than the royal edicts. What is the royal edicts? Means those inscriptions which are made by royal people, means king, but they contain very little political information. So they were not made by royal edicts. They were made by private people. So they contain very little political information, means about the whatever politics was going on at that time. The inscriptions engraved on the walls of religious buildings. So where were the private inscriptions engraved? On the walls of religious buildings. Religious buildings means like those buildings which are related with religion, some type of religion. Bear information on the socio-religious and cultural aspects of ancient India. So they bear information on the socio-religious. Socio-religious means what was the social status that going on at that time, and religious means related to religion, and cultural aspect means culture at that time. Now coming to numismatic evidence, the branch of history which studies coins is called numismatics. So what is numismatics? It's the study of coins. This is considered as the second most important source of reconstructing the history of India. So first was the inscriptions. Now second thing which is dealing with getting the history of India is numismatic, means study of coins. From coins we are able to know about our past. Coins in the period prior to Alexander invasions are generally of two types. So coins in the period prior to Alexander invasion means before Alexander came to India, the coins were of two types, Indo-Greek and punch-marked coins. Now punch-marked coins are the earliest coins of India. So you must keep this point in your mind that punch-marked coins are the earliest coin of India, and they bear only symbol on them. Each symbol is punched separately. So they bear only symbol, means only symbol is put on the coin, and each symbol is punched separately, means all the symbols are punched separately, means they have all the symbols are different from each other. The coins of copper, silver and gold issued by Indo-Greek are of artistic excellence. So coins of copper, silver and gold were issued by Indo-Greeks are of artistic excellence, means they were very beautifully made. The Indian coinage between the great empires of the Mauryas and the Guptas are greatly indebted to the Greeks. So the Indian coinage between the two great empires. What are the two great empires? Mauryas and the Guptas. They are greatly indebted, means they feel that something has been done to them by the Greeks, means Greeks had given them a lot. Only few coins of the time of Alexander have been discovered so far, but this is something sad that only few coins at the time of Alexander has been found out. But numismatic evidence plays a key role in reconstructing the history of the Bactrian Greeks, the Sakas, the Pratihans, and the Kushans. So, numismatic evidence help in reconstructing the history of whom? Bactrian Greeks, Sakas, Pratihans, and the Kushans. Regarding the Mauryan and the Gupta emperors, too, coins form an important source of information. So, regarding the Maurya and the Gupta emperors, coins form important source of information. But the Gupta coins are the best specimen of all coins of ancient India and are devoid of foreign influence. So, Gupta coins are having influence of foreign. Now, coins are the sources which collaborates the literary and the epigraphic sources of ancient Indian history. So they help us reconstruct the constitutional and administrative history of India and at the same time throw light on historical, geographical and on the religious history of ancient India. Now, but with the downfall of the Gupta Empire, coins play a much lesser role as source of ancient Indian history. The coins of the Harshvardhana and the Chalukyas, the Rashtrakutas, the Pratiharas and the Palas are rarely available and contain meager historical information. So coins of these dynasties are not available in a proper amount. Now, we will study the topic in the next class about the ancient history. We will study now ruined cities and monuments in the next class. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe the channel. I feel happy for that. And my aim is that all the students could get knowledge. Whatever God has given me, I should give to others. So, thank you once again.